Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to this talk, How to Scale AI with Compliance and Security. This is the insurance business solution talk of this day, today. I'm very glad to introduce you our panelists. I will start first with Isabelle Perf. So, Isabelle, you're the CMO of Naaia. Naaia is an AI compliance and risk management solution. You've worked in the tech ecosystem over the past 17 years in the UK, in Asia. Thank you for being there. Then I'm going to introduce Ines Besbes. Ines is the founder and the CEO of Seedext. Previously, she's a serial entrepreneur. She already created 2 startups in the universe of cyber, AI, and IoT. She brings a global human-centered approach to building a useful and secure tech solution. And Seedext is a 100% French-made solution that generates summaries and talks within any platform. And you will talk about it later. Thank you, Ines, for being there.
Thank you.
Then Hugo Ahmad.
Hello.
Hello, Hugo. Thank you for being there. You're a recognized expert in data and AI. You have more than 15 years of experience in innovative solutions for your client and your businesses. You have started your career as a startup too, and then you worked as the head of the AI factory at Decathlon. And recently, AXA has the great chance to have you as you join them. You joined the AI factory of AXA in 2025. Thank you very much for being there.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start this talk around the question of AI governance and security. I will ask the first question to you, Hugo. Hugo, can you describe, please, your structure of AI and Gen AI factory, and what is at stake in your structure, please?
Yeah, so data and AI constitute at AXA France one of the pillars of our strategic transformation. And our ambition in data and AI we call Nadia. And Nadia is not just a technological transformation, but it's a cultural, organizational, and also technological transformation. Back to the AI Gen AI factory, was I pleased to lead today. We wanted a factory that generates value for AXA France with the business, working hand by hand with our tech team, business lines, to ensure that we have a reliable and responsible AI solution that we develop and we put in place with our ecosystem. So first of all, we built our delivery team constituted with data scientists and machine learning engineer, work hand by hand with the tech and business line to develop our solution and mirror of all the program of our priority in AXA France. Secondly, we develop our platform AI team. We want to develop our asset, modular asset, reusable assets, and we want to ensure that once we validate the value and the impact that we want to create, we can push into production very quickly this asset and to be impactful in production way. And the third important matter is the governance and the R&D. So we are amplifying our governance to be ensured that we are putting in place generally all the best practices about developing reliable and securable and also a responsible AI solution. And we are also ensuring that we are applying all the compliance regarding the AI Act and so on. And the R&D is very important for us because without innovation, we cannot progress. So we put in place the R&D team, and we are fostering this culture of innovation around all AXA France.
Thank you, Hugo. Isabelle, could you give us an overview of AI governance standards with your clients?
Yeah. Sure. So one thing that always comes to mind today, obviously, as you just discussed it, is the AI Act. So most of you, I guess, know about it now. But just as a reminder, the AI Act is the European regulation on AI that was voted last year that is already in application. It's a product regulation that is going to go on all of your AI use case, all of your AI product, whether you're talking generative AI or not, whether it's about AI solutions that are entirely developed within your factories or on-the-shelf solutions. Now, this is what comes to mind, but what is super important to really have in mind is the following, that you might have, the regulation, so AI Act in Europe, other laws in China, laws in the US, and everywhere you have more than 75 countries today in the world that are looking at AI regulation. So that might impact you as well, depending on where you are and where your customers are and users are across the world. Regulation is one piece, but also looking at standards and norms is another piece, because you have standards on AI, such as ISO 42001. You have a European Commission working right now on European norms as well for AI that will come later this year and part of it also next year. And also making sure that the standards that you're looking at for your own product today, looking at how they are going to be articulated with the AI standards. That's the second piece. And then the third piece is your own, I would say, business compliance. Because you might use AI products today in your organization that might not be high risk for the regulation, but they are very risky for your business. So most of our customers today, they develop their own internal standards, we might say, where they're looking at how they think about ethical AI, how they think about safety, cybersecurity, in order to make sure that they also kind of overqualify regulation for their own business.
Thank you, Isabelle. Ines, how do you manage efficiency and security within Seedext?
Well, it was a great question in the beginning when we had to talk with a few large companies. The goal of those large companies was to be able to be agile, so have the possibility to collaborate with a startup which is going to be efficient, which is going to be fast as well, and to be able to assure a certain standard of security. And the entire role of security is not just about regulations, and that means today we're in Europe, we're in France, we have to tick some boxes, but also every company has specific security regulations, have some specific rules as well that a startup needs to follow. And for most startups, it's very tough, you know, to go through an entire process, to be able to work with different types of collaborators in large corporations. But it's a key issue for them, because if you cannot assure a certain standard of security, for example, you will have data leaks like what happened in Samsung, or even what happened at a government scale in Morocco, where all the health data was just completely revealed to the public. So these are of course, some measures that we have to take into consideration. And when we build a product at Seedext, we have to be able to co-construct and build, you know, these standards with our clients, understand truly what they need, and not just tick boxes of what's GDPR, because that's nice to have GDPR, but that's even nicer to understand exactly the component of every structure. And then also, we're talking about what's next with Seedext, and how we're going to be able to make an AI assistant that is going to be innovative, but also be able to be at the hands of every user in terms of security, which means that we're talking a lot about agents and autonomous AI. But agents and autonomous AI, we have to be careful of how autonomous they are, because imagine if an AI is going to take actions for you under your name. How are you going to assure that the result is going to be your result and is not going to impact the entire company? So that's a really important issue to take into consideration when we want to innovate as well, is to really take both sides of compliance, but also exactly concretely in the product, how secure is your product.
Thank you, Ines. The world has changed very quickly, especially since the last US election. And we cannot talk about security without talking about sovereignty. So my question is for you, Hugo. Are you seeing a trend toward adopting European digital solution? And do you think this trend is being accelerated over the last months?
Yeah, I think really there is an accelerating trend on adopting European digital solution, and especially the last 2 or 3 years. Some data and industrial analysis shows that there is a real need today to integrate digital solution, AI solution, business solution, and this increase and this demand was increased by the need of cloud computing, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, analytics solutions. And also, the study shows that the market will grow up to 21% between 25 and 33. And I think two of the reason of that governments and EU want to put again Europe in the game by some big ambition and initiative like the EU International Digital Plan, like the AI Continent Plan, like the AI Act, and the second one is about the competitive pressure that we have. All the companies in Europe, we start to be more and more mature about how we can go beyond experimentation, and we believe today that data and AI will have a big impact in our industry, in our business. So for this reason, I think the trend will be bigger and bigger. And in AXA France, we believe that we need to work more and more with French company. We're already doing this by working with Seedext, not yet for Naaia, but also with Lumines, with Mistral, etc., etc. But we know also that there are not just EU solutions. There's also US and other countries' solution. We are also working with this kind of solution, but we ensure that there is no. We ensure that all the regulatory and the security matter, all the data protection is respected for all the cases.
Thank you, Hugo. Isabelle, about this trend, it's often driven by large company. Do you think it also applies to startup? And would you consider it as a best practice?
So yes, it does apply to startup, and I think there are two ways to look at it. One, a business way, and then the second, more of a conviction, strong belief. The business way to look at it would be, well, as startups, our customers might be large enterprise customers, and we can really sense for the past few months, I would say, a healthy pressure and request to really look into the sovereignty of our hosting as startups. This is something that we hear a lot in our ecosystem, that we can feel today on a daily basis. And so this is why it's so key for a startup to continue to build the trust, with our enterprise customers, to deep dive into sovereignty and sovereign solutions. So that's more of a business part. Then the strong belief is that as startups, we are really at the forefront of the sovereign ecosystem. So we have the capability to build this ecosystem, I would not say from scratch, but there are so many French, European startups. We are working with each other. We are looking at the business together. And so this is, the one approach that we can have to also our customers, that we're taking this approach of sovereignty to bring to the market today.
So many good news now. Ines, do you see alignment between European excellence and digital sovereignty? And do you see it as a must-have, of course, as you are a French startup?
Well, the only thing that I can say is look at the political environment today and the unstable environment that we're living in right now. That gives us a doubt on what's going to come next. How are we going to be able to be completely and fully independent for once? That we have to wake up, I think, as large companies, as even intermediate companies, to think local, to think also European, and to not see European as boundaries or more regulations, but see it as a unique opportunity to be able to build strong alliances and be able to control also your tools and what you're using as well. Because what happened, at least on our side as a startup, we saw a huge demand on our side from large companies that wanted local solutions, because they saw that, from one day to another, that actually the only solutions that they have were only American tools or any tools. So they decided to change their strategy and to take action, and really to be able to control the companies that they will collaborate with. And I think doesn't have to be a trend. I think we need to take this opportunity to really scale up, be able to also create the future leaders of tomorrow here in Europe, in France, and be able to prove that French tech can shine elsewhere than in France or in Europe, that we can have a place in the next unicorns of tomorrow globally, and we can prove that we have excellence. Why? Because we have one of the best AI and data scientists in the world in France and in Europe. Actually, most of them that are in Silicon Valley come from France. So why shouldn't we actually take action and give them the opportunity to be back here and make a place for us globally, rather than just exporting it and making it useful for other companies. So I think definitely excellence and European can really match, and I think it's up to you to also decide on what's going to come next for us as startups.
Big responsibility.
Thank you for this feel-good, almost conclusion, because it's not yet finished. So clearly, we thought we would talk about constraint with this title, compliance and security. But finally, we are just saying that it's a huge opportunity. One word to conclude, Hugo, on this talk.
As you said, it's a huge opportunity to build a real solution, real product on AI, because compliance and being compliant to AI Act, it's just a matter of being industrial solution, and when we are industrial, we are already compliant. So build your solution at compliant way.
Thank you, Ines.
I would say making an AI solution that is concretely helping people while being completely secured and fully in your control.
Thank you, Ines. Isabelle?
Am I okay to have two thoughts? But they will be super quick. The first one is about scaling AI, and so scale it with trust, because this is what we can build now. We can build trust for our customers, for our partners, for the ecosystem. Make sure that we build an ethical and responsible AI. That's the number. That's the number one. The second one is looking at the compliance piece. Be super operational as much as you can. It's something that we can you can all approach. Just think about your priorities, your strategy, your governance, and take it from there.
Thank you. And I would say let's do it in France, right?
Let's do it.
Exactly.
Thank you. We have some time for question. Is there any question from the audience?
Hi, thank you for this session, very fruitful. So I'm working in a cloud service provider based in Europe. What about the other layer when it comes to sovereignty, especially on AI and Gen AI? Do you find relevant actors to sustain your approach, the pitch on sovereignty, especially on GPU, on a PaaS solution on AI? To start.
Yeah, I think at AXA we are pushing on sovereignty. We are not like we want to ensure that if we are working with EU solution or EU platform or outside, we ensure that we are respecting our regulation, our product security, and also our data protection with also the regulatory like DORA, etc. Our resilience on IT and our data production is the key. So we ensure that and we push to use the EU solution more and more, but we want to ensure that our IT is resilient and our data is protected. Is very important. Yeah.
I would say on our side that we're looking into Secnum Cloud solutions. So right now it's very rare, I would say, because a lot of also French and European providers are still going through the process of getting the certification. But that's definitely something that we're looking for as a solution, and that our clients are also looking for into collaborating with us. So if it's something that you have, then we'll be happy to talk about this. And to prove also to our clients that we're not just saying that we want to be sovereign, that we're really sovereign.
I was making the sign so that I was saying exactly the same, so we're fully aligned. As well, we're having the request and we're looking into Signum Cloud solution, so definitely. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Okay, so thank you. Do not hesitate to see us after the talk behind.
Thank you very much.
If you want to discuss with Hugo, Ines, Isabelle. Thank you very, very much for this panel.
Thank you.